Good morning, beautiful people.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Happy Sunday morning. It is so good to be here with each and every one of you as we take this time, this Sunday, to align and remember and know the truth, to celebrate the magnificence of God in us, through us, and as us. We are magnificent and significant. So let us begin as we always do with prayer. And this morning, our prayer champion, Lavonda Elam, will lead us in prayer.
Great and beautiful Sunday, my beloved CSC community. It gives me such joy to tune in with you today. So moving from that joy, I invite each of you, wherever you are, however you may be, to lock in as we unite under the influence of the peace, the comfort, the love, the power, and the presence that prayer is. For God is my source. God is my power. God supplies my every need. And I'm so very grateful for the prosperity of every inhalation and exhalation that is given to me, that is given to us. For I am cognizant of the I am power that is the source of all life, that is the source of my life, that is the source of yours, and that is the all in everything that I am and in everything that you are. For as I am love, as I am peace, as I am truth, as I am worthy, as I am power, as I am joy, as I am trust, as I am wisdom, as I am beauty, as I am prosperous. What I know to be true is that the same holds for each of you. For as above, so below. And it is enlivening to the spirit to know that this prosperous, loving intelligence is always, always right where we are. So let us on this good day live in the eternal truth of this as we give over to the God of knowledge anything that is not ours to hold. Sweet, sweet spirit of light, as we rise today in collective consciousness, I say that we prepare today to be in the good imaginings that awaits us in silence, to be in the good imaginings that await us in song, to be in the good imaginings that await us in sermon, as our beloved leaders are tapped in and turned on by what they serve on their menu of spiritual food that is given to us today. Let us be open to receive it. Let us be well fed. Let us rejoice in it. Let us enjoy the gift of the day. Moving in faith, moving in grace and in gratitude for all that you are, Spirit, and for all that we are. I release this prayer back to the all-knowing, prosperous, mighty Spirit that is present and alive in us now, as we know together today. Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
Yes, yes, amen.
Yes,
Ashe, and
yes.
so it is, and so it is. Well, we are revved up and ready to go. Hello again. It is so good to be here with each and every one of you. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. For we see many of you in the comments already, CSC family and friends, and it's so good to see you all. I know that we are connected here together and now in this moment. And we also want to say hello to our first-time guests. If you are joining us for the very first time, welcome. It's so good to see you. It's so good to have you here for the very first time. Thank you for choosing to stream in with us on this Sunday, knowing that there are so many ministries, of course, that you could stream. And I'm happy that you found your way here to us live this morning. If you are a first-time guest, we'd love to know where you're connecting in from. You can feel free to shout yourself out in the comments, but also we would love to stay in touch with you. So you see the information here on your screen. To join our mailing list, it's very easy. Just text WELCOME, the word WELCOME, to 347-472-1078. Just the word WELCOME, nothing in addition to that. When you do that, it's an automated response. You'll receive a link. Tap that link, enter your information, submit your information, and then you will receive another text message saying that you're all set. And by being on our mailing list, you'll get all our weekly email that goes out on Fridays, and you'll stay up on everything that's happening at CSC, all sorts, whatever email communications go out, you'll receive those. We actually have some announcements we'll share, and you'll see that you're going to want to have some of that information in your inbox, so that you don't have to come back to this stream later to get the information. So let's get into our announcements so that we can get into the meditation and the music and the message. As I said, there's information that you're not going to want to come back to this stream for, but you want to go back to your inbox because it may be more convenient. Every Wednesday morning, we have the Momentum Prayer Call. It happens Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You see the information here on your screen. All you have to do is call the number, enter your access code, mute yourself, and wait. We also recognize that this time may not be convenient for your schedule, or you may just want or need to access prayer at any point in time throughout the week. And so every prayer is recorded. The playback number you see here on your screen, enter that playback number, or call that number rather, enter the access code, and wait, and the most recent prayer will play. We always share a reading that morning, usually from the Daily Word, and then we change it up from time to time. We share a reading, and then either myself, Pastor Yolanda, or one of the prayer champions leads us in prayer. We're in and out in about 15 minutes, but it is a powerful way to begin your day. It's a powerful way to connect and align in the middle of the week, and so we encourage you to join us live. And if you're unable to join us live, we definitely encourage you to tap in to that prayer call and receive the gift of prayer at any point in time that you require it. We also know that you may have a prayer request, and so you can send us an email to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. That email is received by all of our prayer champions, as well as PY and myself, and we hold the highest watch with and for you. We're always holding the highest watch, but of course, when we know specifically what's going on in your world and in your life experience or in the experience of a family member or a friend, then we know how to pray specifically, how to think specifically, how to treat specifically. And so when you send that prayer request, see yourself releasing the burden.
Yes.
When you send that prayer request, see yourself making room to receive insight, to receive clarity, to receive answers, because you've given up the burden, casting it on the mind of God, not on the mind of PY, not on the mind of PG, not on the mind of the prayer champions, on the mind of God. And we are knowing that truth with you, that you are free, and that God within you is working for your good. It is the third Sunday. August 15th, and that means it's God Talk Sunday. What is the God Talk? The God Talk is an awesome opportunity to get questions answered. You may want to learn how to apply metaphysical principles, new thought teachings to your life, to a specific area of your life or a specific experience. And we're here to answer your questions and support you in doing that. It is a free and open forum. Again, it happens every third Sunday, every third Sunday. And because we're virtual, it's happening via Zoom. So you have to have the link and password, which is sent via email. So for our first-time guests, if and when you join our mailing list and successfully join our mailing list, then you will receive an email automatically with that information should you join the mailing list today. No question is off limits. It's always a powerful time. It's always a transformative time. It's something that's very important to us to have that foundation. I know there are many people who grew up in religious settings where questions were not allowed.
Right.
Right. And certain questions definitely weren't allowed. If you were able to, you could ask up to a certain point, and then you would get off into something, and usually they didn't know the answer, but also they were afraid of the answer. And so we recognize that it's very beneficial to have this type of forum, to just keep it real, ask questions, and we're here to support you.
Absolutely. And we teach practical spirituality. And so you should be able to apply these teachings to every area of your life. And so if you have a question that would help you apply it, integrate it, live from it, please come to the God Talk. You have to be in the room to ask the question. So,
Absolutely.
Use that link and password. It's the same one from week to week. If you've had it before, it's the same one.
From month to month.
From month to month, yeah.
And again, for our first-time guests, I'll just bring this graphic back up. If you would like to join our mailing list, here's the information. Text WELCOME to 347-472-1078. Again, just the word WELCOME. No additional emojis, signatures, hellos, or I love it here's, although we like hearing that. It's just the automation won't work otherwise, right? Computers are very specific. So just the word WELCOME. and then you'll receive the automated reply. I think that's actually our last announcement.
Oh, wow.
And so we can move forward with the meditation. Yes, yes.
The meditation experience. We branded it the meditation experience before day one because we knew we wanted to do more than just educate on metaphysical teachings. We wanted you to understand and to know God for yourself, to feel God alive within you. And that means you have to do more than collect information, collect knowledge. You have to experience, have a real life experience of God within you for yourself. And so we take time every Sunday to experience God for ourselves, to bring our minds to this place just as easy as this flow of water, to bring our minds and our bodies and our whole spirit to this place, moving just as effortlessly as this water. And this month, we are affirming the thought, I am enough. I like to sit in contemplation and meditation around what the affirmation is monthly. And it would seem that when we're talking about prosperity, that means you want more. What we understand is that we have to acknowledge what we have and who we are. Many times we are in the pursuit of things to make us feel more alive, more valuable, more worthy, more whatever. But we have to understand, I am enough just as I am. I was born enough. I remain enough. And anything that I acquire is just adding to that enoughness. From this place, we begin our process of going within. From this knowingness and this affirmation of I am enough. The birds never question if they are enough. The flowers don't have any ego around their beauty. I am enough. The more we affirm it, the more we just soak in it and swim in it, the more it becomes true, and the more we remember that it was always true. So let's take ourselves deep into the waters of experience, of love and remembering. Look around the room. The simple act of bringing your focus into the room, not into the past or the future, but into the room. Allow your shoulders to relax over your hips, bringing ourselves into our bodies, and allowing the vertebrae to stack nice and easy on top of one another the way they were designed, so that you are just an open channel, an aligned channel to experience your God for yourself. And from this place of alignment, whether you are seated upright in a chair or upright in your bed, on the sofa, just seated upright. And from this now moment, let's begin to experience more God. Go ahead, close your eyes. And that simple act of allowing the eyelids to close. And you're conscious enough. Maybe you even feel the eyelashes against the tops of the cheeks. Maybe you've noticed the relaxation in the back of the eyes, on the temples, in the forehead, in the face. All of that relaxation signals and reminds us that every muscle knows what to do. Every muscle is enough to provide what you need. And let's now bring our focus to the breath. We notice the breath because it is right here and now. We make no judgment of whether the breath appears to be deep or appears to be shallow. We just notice that it is moving. just like the soft current on the water. We just notice and stand in gratitude for how enough the breath is. As it moves in and out, let's take a few rounds to notice. Last round of noticing. Noticing that as we are aware of each round of breath, it slows down. Slows down the beating of the heart. Signals our nervous system that it's okay to relax. Nowhere to go, nothing to rush off to, nothing to prove, just God to be observed and experienced. Beautiful. Now, let's practice our deep breathing, our 3-part breathing. As we elongate the breath, we relax more. Everything again continues to slow down, and any worry, doubt, or fear begins to fade into the background. And so, sending our consciousness along with our breath into the low belly, breathing in on a count of 4. Inhale. Hold it there. And now sigh it out on a count of 4. Again, into the low belly, expanding the low belly. And hold it there when you get to a count of 4. And relax the jaw and sigh it out. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage. We make room for more breath because we have enough breath. Inhaling, count of 4. Expanding the front and the sides and the back. Hold it there. Now sigh it out. Again, inhaling in and up through the rib cage, making more room for breath, more room for opening, more room for God. Hold it there. And sigh it out. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, up through the heart. We now notice how long and open and expansive the lungs are, how much room they have to hold breath and energy. You're holding at the top there. And sigh it out. And as you sigh it out, try not to collapse the rib cage. Just keep everything nice and long. Again, in through the low belly, up through the rib cage, up through the heart, center of the chest, across the chest, and sigh it out. Let's take some time to practice this form of breathing. Full breath, not just a chest breath, a full breath, an expansive breath, a connected breath. Inhaling all the way in and up. And when you get to the top, close the lips and exhale through the nose. Take a few rounds of this breath in and out through the nose. Each round takes you deeper into relaxation. Each round reminds you there's more than enough breath because you are enough. Let's just notice that, feel that, open to that. Last round to practice this elongated breath. In actuality, the way that we should breathe all the time. It keeps us centered. It keeps us connected. And now let's take this breath under our conscious control and send it into the feet. Maybe if you're seated upright, you raise the heels or wiggle the toes. And in this moment, you notice that you've been holding on really tight. Maybe today, maybe this week. Exhale into the feet. Relax the feet now. It's almost as if the feet melt into the earth. Now let's take that energy that we've received from the earth and beyond, sending it up through the soles of the feet, across the ankles. Relax the ankles. Unobstructed, the energy flows across the shins and the calves. Relax the shins and the calves. Energy flows across the knees. They are relaxed so that they can be rejuvenated. We bend in alignment and we surrender. Relax the knees. Energy flows across the thighs, the hamstrings, the glutes. You may tighten the glutes just so slightly, just to notice that they're there. And then exhale and release the glutes. That subtle movement sends more breath, more relaxation into the lower half of the body. Relax the thighs, the hamstrings, and the glutes. And at the base of the spine, we notice the energy. It is gathered there and ready to flow. In our minds, we see our chakra system, each spinning vortices just there, available. We no longer block that flow or hinder that flow or wonder if that flow is enough. We know that we are. And so the energy can freely travel up, 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 Each time we breathe, the energy moves easily up, up, up and out the crown of our head. Nothing to hold on to, only love to be experienced and received, and the energy of life to do its healing and remembering work. I am enough. I am enough. The flow of my breath is enough. The functioning of my organs are enough. The aptitude of my mind is enough. And my heart is enough. We give permission now for that energy that has gathered above us all, connecting us all, to empower us, surround us, and now flow back down through us, crossing the third eye, opening the throat, and flowing across the shoulders. We breathe and they relax. Energy flows down the arms and out the fingertips. And you can turn the palms down if you'd like, or up if you'd like. But just notice the kiss of breath and air and energy in the palms. We don't have to grip, we can just receive, because we are enough. As we begin to prepare to go deeper into our experience, go ahead and scan your body. And notice if there's anywhere that you are still holding on to thoughts of lack or limitation or unworthiness or unforgiveness. Breathe in and release it. As we go into our silent time, if the mind wanders, it is perfectly okay. Be in gratitude for the mind working, and be in gratitude for your ability to bring it back to this thought. I am enough. I will monitor the time. You just take that inward journey. Take it fully and completely. Now. With our eyes closed, we enjoy the expansiveness of the experience. With our eyes closed, we notice the ease, just like the birds in flight. The ease of our breath comes so natural. The ease of our connection to God is inevitable. And the ease of our abundance and flow and prosperity are available with our eyes closed. We solidify this feeling in our nervous system, and we return to it any time that we need by closing the eyes, elongating the breath, and bringing the mind to the present. We are so grateful to know that it is that easy to connect. It is that easy to bring our thoughts into alignment with the one mind, power, and presence. It is that easy to experience God for ourselves. So now let's begin, ever so easily, to bring ourselves back. Slowly bringing the lower half of our body online. And maybe we wiggle the toes. Maybe we rub the shins and the calves and the thighs. But whatever movement we make, we are in gratitude that we can make it. Plant the palms on the tops of the thighs. Allow the shoulders to relax, again over the hips. Inhale, draw the shoulders up by the ears. Hold it there. Exhale, sigh it out, shoulders draw back and nice and easy down. Inhale, shoulders draw up. Exhale, back and down. Last time, inhale. Hold it. Squeeze at the top. Maybe there's a little movement to the sides. And back. Exhaling, shoulders relax down. And we bring the palms together at heart center. We bow our chin to our fingertips, and this slight bow is an acknowledgement of those who walk beside us, who've gone before us, who will come after us, all connected to this one mind, the one mind that as it created each of us, knew that we were enough. We stand in honor of this knowing, of this feeling, of this time. Slowly flutter the eyes open. Nice soft gaze. Notice a point on the floor in front of you. No strain on the eyes. Too much relaxation to experience strain. Inhale, raise the chin, raise the gaze. Release the breath. Namaste.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, PY.
You're welcome.
That's powerful, powerful, powerful. We are enough. Absolutely. And well, we are in our sermon series, The 7 Habits of Prosperous People. Today we're going to be looking at habit 2, imagine. And so before we get into the message, which I'm very excited about, let's hear from Soul 21.
And so many years ago, I was on the subway, and I was thinking, I was thinking about this idea of what would it look like for us to collectively pray and sing together. And then this idea came to me, and it's called the I Am Prayer. So I'm inviting you first to just think about what are your I am affirmations, right? I am prosperous, I am bold, I am amazing, I am brilliant, I am perfect, whole, and complete. I remain as God created. What are your I ams? You can just yell them out right now. You have an I am affirmation? I am love. Yes. Okay. All right, we have some I ams. This is good. This is good. So what we're going to do is there's a moment when we're going to sing I am, and then we're going to yell out our I am affirmations, right? And so we'll demonstrate it for you so you'll get an idea of it, and you'll know when to speak out those affirmations. And so what happens is, as we're speaking that out, because I am followed by anything, it's coming to you, right? So it's a very powerful prayer. So as we affirm our I ams, then we sing all of this and more I am. Whatever it is that we've spoken collectively into the space, we're still more than that. Yes. Because we're one with the all that is. We're one with God. So we're eternal. We're bigger than anything we could ever imagine or conceive of as our I am. This is the I am prayer. Think about your I ams. Make sure you got it ready. Here we go. I am. Who are you? Tell me who you are. I am. I am
Yes, yes, yes. All of this and more I am. I hope you all enjoyed that one. I love that song, particularly when we can do it all together because, it's one of those ones that just really involves everyone. And it's also one of those songs that has so much momentum. The more you sing it, the more you repeat it. It's really powerful. Well, good morning. Happy Sunday again. Yeah, it's still morning. It's so good to be here with each and every one of you. And so I have some good things to share today, and I'm going to get into it to make sure we end on time because we have the God Talk at 1. And so we are in our series, The 7 Habits of Prosperous People. We started in week 1 with the introduction, Curating a Prosperous Mind. First, understanding that we can talk about these 7 habits, and we have to understand why it's important. Why do we want to cultivate these 7 habits? And it's because we are the guardians of our minds. We are the ministers of our minds. We are the superintendents of our minds. And so that's what a curator is. And so it's important that we learn to curate our minds. And we do that through cultivating these 7 habits. We started in last week with habit 1, which is the habit of surrender. And surrender, as we have now understand it and looked at it, means to stay in the realm of the answer, inspired by Marianne Williamson. It means to live under the influence of who? Of what? The Father within, the Christ mind, of love eternal, love unconditional. That's what surrender is, that we're allowing ourselves to be influenced by something else, something that is beneficial. Because in truth, we're always under the influence of something. And so again, as we are curators, as we stand guard at the gateway of our minds, we then allow ourselves to be influenced by the good. Now, I also shared that this habit of surrender, and really all of these habits, but the habit of surrender requires discipline. It requires daily practice, right? That's how we get under the influence of love, under the influence of good. And so I ended with the very simple prayer, which is an easy way to live under the influence, is to simply pray, thy will be done, right? Which is an eternal yes. So what are the 7 habits that we're looking at? Again, we just looked at surrender. So surrender, imagine, believe, forgive, give, pray, and receive. So that means that today we're looking at habit 2, which is imagine. And there's so many ways that one could approach this sermon, but recently, Common, the rapper, he released a single, sometime this summer, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite songs. It's one of those songs that this summer I just keep in constant repeat, and it's one of my jams, right? The song is called Imagine. And what he's doing in the song is beautiful. He's laying out a vision for life that does not currently exist. He's laying out a vision for the way the world could look, the way we could interact with each other, the way we could experience life that would be beautiful, that would be beneficial, that would be affirming, that would be prospering, that would be it would have equality and justice built in. And I just want to give you just some lines from the song. And in the first verse, at one point he says, life is greener on this side. The beauty that we see be coming from inside. Imagine if, right? So he's telling this idea of, imagine if we were living in a world where the beauty we see is coming from inside. Imagine if you a god and she a goddess. My people get freed, locked up for weed charges. We no longer targets or bodies on the market. Clean water coming out of Flint's faucets. It's awesome, right? So he's talking about imagining this idea, right, of living in this way that we understand who we are. We understand our divine nature. My people get freed, locked up from weed charges. No longer targets or bodies on the market. Clean water coming out of Flint's faucets, right? And at the end of that line, he says, I think in miracles. It's my imagination. And one of my favorite lines in the second verse, he says, imagine loving you enough you don't need a like. Right? What if we weren't living for the likes of social media or even the likes of our family and friends and people that we know? And he goes on later, Amanda Gorman poems, mantras that we recite. Right? I think in miracles. It's my imagination. And so that song, just that line and the song, again, has been one of my favorites all summer. And this idea of I think in miracles. It's my imagination. It embodies exactly what habit 2, imagine, is all about, right? Now, as I shared in the introduction, these 7 habits are inspired by the 7 steps to prosperity consciousness, which comes from the 4T prosperity program. And for those of you that have taken that class, you know that there's a reading that you do every day when you're that's a part of your prayer practice, right? And in that reading under Imagine, there's something very specific that Stretton Smith writes, and that is something that's read every day. And there's a line in here that I've taken and it's become a part of my life. But under Imagine, we read this: I imagine my highest good expressing and manifesting in my life right now. Through God's gift of imagination, I see life as it can be, not as it appears to be. I imagine the truth of my Christ spirit. Many of you, I'm sure, were able to recite that right along with me as I said it, because you've taken the class, and if you've taken the class for almost 90 days, you were reciting that line every day along with others, right? And the line that has always jumped out at me from the very first time I ever read this in 2009 and took the class: I see life as it can be, not as it appears to be. And this is what's important, and why I say that Common Song really taps into what Imagine, this habit of Imagine, is about, right? Because he's seeing life as it can be, not as it appears to be, right? He's recognizing that there's a way of life right now that's not beneficial, but he's imagining that it could be better, that it could be equal. He says in another line, everything on the path we already have. Imagine, right? This idea, we're no longer trying to get stuff because we already have it, and then we can live prosperously. So I want to support you in understanding more of what this step is. And so we're going to look at imagination versus manipulation, understanding what manifestation truly is, why Imagine comes after surrender, and then making use of God's gift of imagination. So last week I shared, and I'll put it on the screen again. Last week I shared this graphic, right, for us to understand the difference between stage 2 and stage 3, right? And I said the stage 3 is the surrender stage. Why? Stage 3 is the stage that says it is not I, but the Father within, or God within, that does the work, right? To move from stage 2 to stage 3, it's the opportunity to give up control and power, right? And so by moving into surrender, we're choosing to live under the influence, right? We're choosing to live under the influence. Now, the other thing is stage 2 is oftentimes known as the manipulator stage. But this habit of imagination, this idea of I see life as it can be, not as it appears to be, this habit of I think in miracles, it's my imagination, that doesn't exist in stage 2, okay? That's very important. And so why do I say that? Why doesn't it exist in stage 2? Because stage 2 is the manipulation or manipulator stage. And I want you to hear this, and you may not have heard this way from me, because you've heard me as I'm quoting Reverend Michael, right? This is called the stage 2 is the manipulator or manifester stage. But you may have heard that as a negative, right? Because of course there is a negative use of manipulation, right? When you're forcing someone to do something, or tricking someone into do something, or using unjust means to get a result, right? And that's not what I mean here by manipulation. That's not what's meant here. And so I think this is important. I don't use manipulation in a negative or critical way. This is not a bad thing, but we must understand how it is different from God's gift of imagination. So let's look at the word manipulate, right? It's a verb. Let's look at what that word, how Webster's defines it. Webster's defines manipulate as to treat or operate it with, or as with the hands, or by mechanical means, especially in a skillful manner, as in manipulate a pencil, manipulate a machine. The second definition, to manage or utilize skillfully. Okay. So vision boards and visualization are wonderful tools, and they involve making use of what is already known or seen. That's why it's manipulation. In the same way that you manipulate a pencil, it's an instrument that exists and then you make use of it. You manipulate a machine, it's something that exists and then you make use of it. But because we're using our minds instead of our hands, we think we're manifesting, and we think we're imagining, but we're really manipulating, making use of what is already seen and known, and drawing those things or experiences into our lives. Again, I'm not saying that manipulation is bad. Please hear me. I'm not using it in the negative sense, but it's important to understand the difference. Right? That when we manipulate, we can only make use of what already exists, what's already been seen, right? It's not imagination and it's not manifestation, which I'll talk about in a second. So again, tools like vision boards, tools like visualization is making use of what is known, and then we draw those things into our experience, making use of what has already been seen or talked about or written about or put in a magazine that you can cut out and put on your board, right? And then you draw that experience into your life. We know that that works, right? Because of the principle, what you focus on expands, right? But again, that is manipulation, not imagination. So I think it's important to take us a little deeper to understand what manifestation truly is, because that word manifestation is used, oh, I'm manifesting my best life, I'm manifesting a car, or I need to manifest this, I need to manifest that, or oh, I manifested that, I manifested this. And so I want us to look at the definition again, because here's another word that is used and thrown around and everybody's manifesting, but in truth, the word is generally being misused. Manifest, it's a verb. It's a transitive verb. And the definition is very simple: to make evident or certain by showing or displaying. Oh my goodness. I hope y'all get this, because this is so powerful and will transform so many aspects of your life and your world and how you're creating and attracting now. What does it mean to manifest? To make evident or certain by showing or displaying, right? So when someone says, I manifested that car, they weren't saying, I made something evident. No, they were saying, I wanted something and I got it. Right? And so what they were really saying was, I manipulated, right? I used these tools, which was manipulation. I made use of what was known and attracted that into my life. They attracted it into their life. The law works, right? I'm not saying they didn't attract it into their lives. I'm not saying there's not a spiritual principle behind it. But I want to be clear about this distinction, right? And this is why I think that a term that we use in New Thought is a very good term to use and to begin to incorporate into your language, because manifestation is really not the word that's used in New Thought. The word is demonstration, which is a better understanding of what manifestation really is, right? Because manifestation is making evident or certain by showing or displaying. So a manifestation is making evident or displaying our consciousness. So then that's what a demonstration is. When I make a demonstration, I'm demonstrating my consciousness. I'm demonstrating my internal work. Do you see the difference? True manifesting or manifestation has nothing to do with things or outer experiences. So if you wanted to demonstrate more money, you would need to develop a consciousness of financial wealth and well-being. Yes, yes. If you wanted to demonstrate a new job, you would need to develop the consciousness of being employed now. The new job would then be evidence or make certain the content of your mind. It would be showing and displaying the content of your mind. If you want to demonstrate a new home, you would develop the consciousness of being housed beautifully, comfortably, and immaculately, right? This is very important. It would be evidence of how you've been living in your mind. That's what a demonstration is. That's what manifestation really is. And again, so when most people use the word manifest, what they really are saying is manipulate. Again, not a negative use of the term, but we have to know the difference. And we have to know the differences because this is different than imagination. This is different than thinking in miracles. And it reminds me, in the King James Version of a famous scripture that we all know, Hebrews 11:1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Right? And it goes on. My favorite part of that is verse 3 that says, through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. The New Revised Version says it a little more simply. So what is seen was made from things that are not visible. So yes, we can create our lives based on what is visible, right? What we've seen, right? What already exists. And you can create a powerful life, an amazing life, right? A joyful life. But faith, oh my Lord, see? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. What did I just say manifest was? Making evident or certain by showing or displaying. And we understand that what is seen, the things that came into existence that then somebody else saw and created based on or attracted based on, are made from things that are not visible. That's the world of imagination. That's the thinking in miracles. And so then we start to understand, well, why did we have to talk about surrender and understand and develop this habit of surrender before we can get into imagine, right? Because from this place of understanding, you can now see that surrender, if we're getting under the influence of God, if we're getting under the influence of the all that is, if we're getting under the influence of infinite intelligence, if we're getting under the influence of divine substance, if we're getting under the influence of the thing that is the foundation of all life, that then empowers our imagination because it's bigger than anything that you could ever see. It's bigger than anything that you could ever think on your own. It's bigger than anything you could ever research. It's bigger than anything you could ever search out. It's bigger than anything you could ever read about. And I was thinking about it and putting the notes together. Celebration Spiritual Center was beyond my imagination. First of all, it wasn't what I was seeking to do. I had an idea for what I thought I was going to be doing, but what I recognized was I was also living in a place of surrender, which then sent me to visioning. Because I knew that even my best idea can't even come close to God's smallest idea for me. And so from that place of surrender, I was willing to get under the influence and vision. I was willing to create this field of unconditional love and then have a conversation with love and say, love, what is your idea of yourself as my life? And I heard very clearly in my mind's ear, Celebration Spiritual Center. That was not what Greg was trying to do. I had another plan. That was a good plan. That was based on what I had seen. I was living in stage 2. I know the tools. I've used the tools. So I know that I could attract a wonderful life doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing or what I wanted to do, but it was based on what I had seen. Celebration Spiritual Center wasn't based on something that I had seen or previously done. And so again, through life visioning, which is a surrendered practice. I love how Reverend Michael, who of course brought us this powerful practice, how he explains it. With visioning, you're not here to tell God what you want or what to do. You're here to tap into what God is seeking to do through you. That's imagination. God's gift of imagination showed me something greater outside of my realm of thought or perspective. And there was an example that came to my mind, and I feel like this is a little rough and crude. None of these examples are perfect, but I hope it helps somebody see it, right? Because when we talk about this idea of moving into surrender and allowing imagination, God's gift of imagination to lead and guide you versus the manipulator stage, right, where you're using these tools and taking what you've seen and attracting something into your life experience. To me, it's the difference between a hand mixer and an electric mixer, right? Now, most of us have never used or seen a hand mixer, right? But there was the manual mixer that you just had to turn, right? And it had the beaters, and like people literally used to like make cakes and things. It seems crazy with this manual mixer, which requires all of this effort, right? I have to have strong muscles, and our mothers and grandmothers, they must have really been strong using these manual, great grandmothers using these manual mixers to mix mix the sugar and the flour and the eggs and all of that stuff, right? Hand, just, right? And you got to do it till it's nice and smooth, right? Now, electric hand mixers come on the scene, right? Now, when you have an electric hand mixer, you don't use the same effort. There's no muscle involved. So imagine if you had an electric hand mixer and you're trying to force it to mix. No, what do? You put it on the proper setting, or you plug it in, you put it on the proper setting, and you just allow. You allow, right? Because what do we say? What's the surrender stage? It is not I, but who or what? The Father within that does the work. So it's just like that. The difference between a manual hand mixer to an electric hand mixer. The mixer is doing the work, the electricity and the power and all of the engineering and all of the knowledge that was required to create this device. And so all you're doing is leading and guiding it now. You're not using your muscle. You're not manually manipulating it and making it do something. That's the difference. And again, this is you might have to look up. Somebody probably has to look up what a hand mixer looks like to understand the difference. But this is what we can begin to do, how we can begin to live from this place of imagination. As my brother Common said, I think in miracles. It's my imagination. So how do we make use of God's gift of imagination? When we make use of God's gift of imagination, again, we are doing as Common did. We're thinking in miracles. And what is a miracle? We know this definition. You've heard Pastor Yolanda share it many, many times. You've heard me share it, right? A Course in Miracles is very specific about what a miracle is. A miracle is not some, supernatural, extraordinary event, right? That's not what a miracle is. A miracle is a shift in perception. I actually even read that last week when in the reading from Marianne Williamson. She was like, yeah, I needed a miracle, right, after my emotional car crash. She said, miracle, a shift in perception, right? This aligns with our understanding of what a demonstration is. When we need something to happen on the external, it's time to think in miracles. It's time to think, I need a shift in perception. This is and this is that place of mastery. And as you develop these habits, this is where you get to. You see something going on in the external world, and it's like, oh, I need to change my mind. I need to get my mind right. I need to shift my perception. And specifically, not do I just need to shift my perception, but I need to see as God sees, right? Right? I see life as it can be, not as it appears to be. So often we look at this world and people think that, God is allowing all of these awful things to happen in the world. But that's not the case, right? Humanity is the problem. Our vision is the problem because we're not aligned with this truth of how love sees. Love sees justice and kindness and equality and everyone having more than enough. But humanity believes that there isn't enough. Humanity believes and only imagines hierarchy. And so that's what we're getting. And so, yes, we need a miracle in this world. We need a shift in perception to see as love sees, to see as justice sees, to see as equality sees, to see as good sees, and only good. God's gift of imagination will always, always, always shift your perception. I love what Neville Goddard says, and when I first started working on this message in the series, I really thought this was going to be a Neville Goddard message, and we went another way. But in his text, Awaken Imagination and the Search, only as we live by imagination can we be said. Only as we live by imagination can we truly be said to live at all. And so, in truth, if we're not using God's gift of imagination, we ain't living. Right? And that's why Marvin Gaye, lamenting on the state of the world, said, this ain't living. It's not. Because there's a way that we could be living. There's a way that the world could work and truly work for everyone. But we got to tap into God's gift of imagination. We got to think in miracles. And so last week I gave you the prayer, thy will be done. And so this week I want to give you something. This is a gift that you'll be able to use, and this will something that'll be kind of working and developing momentum all throughout this series. Many of you are familiar with the prosperity money game. We've played it in the past. One of our first prosperity series, we did it. I've used it with some of my coaching clients, and I think even in some of my classes, we've done it in the past. But I think it's going to be powerful and beautiful for us to come together as a collective to do this game. And it's based on Process 5. For those of you who are familiar with Abraham Hicks and the book Asking and Is Given, in the second part, there are all these processes, tools, and things that we can use to shift our vibration. And she calls it the prosperity game, right? But here's what's written in the text. Most of our physical friends really do not exercise their imagination very much. Most people offer their vibrations almost exclusively in response to what they are observing. See, this is just what I talked about, right? Most people are living stage 2, manipulating, offering their response, even if it's a positive response, based on what they see, not what can be. Okay. But by playing this game, you will find yourself reaching for new ideas, and in time, you will feel the expansion of your own desire and expectation. In doing so, you will benefit by shifting your point of attraction. You see, the universe is responding to your vibrational offering, not your current state of being. So if you are giving your attention only to your current state of being, then your future evolves much the same. But if you are giving focused attention to these wonderful, expanding ideas that this game evokes from you, the universe now responds to the vibration of those thoughts. So how does the prosperity money game work? You'll be able to sign up in a second. I'll tell you how to do it. But what happens is you will receive, over the next 6 weeks, you're going to receive 16 deposits from the imaginary bank of the universe, right? And so what those deposits are going to look like, I have the chart here, you can see it. In week 1, the first day you'll get $1,000. Then the next day you'll get, first I'll just say you get $1,000 and instructions. And you must spend all of those, that money, $1,000, which is imaginary money, and you imagine making use of that money in any way you desire or see fit. And you must spend it all in 24 to 48 hours before the next deposit, right? Next deposit comes on day 2, $2,000. Same instructions, right? And you want to spend the money. Don't save up. Don't save 500 from here so you can put it with the 2,000. See, that's that old consciousness. There's more than enough. You see all this money that's coming to you in the weeks before, so you ain't got to hold 500 and put it with the 2,000, right? So you got 2,000, then your 4,000, then you see the next week the deposits go up, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, they go up, 20K, 40K, 60K, they go up, 80K, 100K, 200K, they go up, 400K, 600K, 800K, and in week 6, your last deposit is a cool $1 million. Now, what I love about this game is that it actually supports you in moving from stage 2 to stage 3. Because first, naturally, right, stage 2, and many of you are already like, oh, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy, right? And it's based on things you've seen, it's based on things you've already wanted, things that might already be on your vision board or in your Pinterest board. But every time I play this game, what happens is I get to the point where all of my needs are met, right? And I'm trying to like create vacations, like, oh, well, you know, what does it cost to go to Fiji and live there for a month? And right, like something that I may have never thought of, right? I may have wanted to go to Fiji, but didn't think about being there for a month, right? All of a sudden, then you begin to think about philanthropically, right? What are organizations that you would want to give some of this money to, right? Because all of a sudden now you have more than enough. It's expanding your mind, it's expanding your consciousness, it's expanding your sense of what's possible. The other thing that I've experienced myself, and I've seen it with clients that I've worked with, that when we do this game, many times there's things that you thought you couldn't afford, right? And all of a sudden, as you do the research of what it really costs to do something, you're like, wait, I actually have the money for it now. And you realize that you were holding a limiting thought for yourself, thinking that you couldn't have something or couldn't be something or couldn't do something or couldn't experience something. And you realize that you already had the means, right? And so this game becomes a catalyst for that. right? So how do you sign up for the game? It's really easy to sign up for the game. Now you can use the QR code here, but also if you look in the post, if you're here on Facebook or you're here on YouTube, the URL is there. So it says play the Prosperity Money Game. Click that URL, sign up, enter your name, your email, and subscribe to the list. And the first email will be a welcome email that will give you, you'll see this same chart again in that welcome email, letting you know what to expect. And then you will have, and then in about an hour after that first email, you'll receive the first deposit from the imaginary bank of the universe. Now remember, first surrender. Right? As you're thinking about this game, and we had the prayer last week, thy will be done, right? The first thing is make sure that you're really living in surrender, right? That I'm surrendering to God's gift of imagination. I want to see life as it can be, not as it appears to be. I want to think in miracles, right? If you haven't heard Common Song, stream it, find it somewhere, YouTube, wherever, because, that might just help get you in the vibration, right? The song just feels good, right? It's a good song for the summer. But make sure that you're getting in that vibration of, I'm thinking in miracles. I'm thinking in miracles that, yeah, I know how life can be. And there's a lot of things I've seen and thought about wanting because I've seen it. But I know that God's imagination is greater than anything that I could think. Right? And this is why the scripture is there, right? Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we could ask or think. I love the Message Bible translation, which I don't usually support that translation, but the translation of that verse says, beyond your wildest dreams. That's God's gift of imagination. That's thinking in miracles, right? That's the shift in perception. So I'm really excited about being able to use this tool to support us all in really living in the habit of imagination. Because the other thing that I've found is as I've done this game, and I've done this many times over the years, it expands each time, right? Because all of us can get to a point, once we've imagined, right? And even we've allowed God's imagination to take us to a certain point, and then there's more. Right? BY led us in the affirmation and the meditation, I am enough. And then the song, I am all of this and more, I am. All of this and more, I am. So there's no ceiling on that imagination. And so especially for those of you who may have done this game on your own or with someone else or done it with CSC in the past, it's going to be brand new. Now again, how do you sign up? You can use the QR code, right? Just put your camera phone up to the screen, and that code will take you to the page. But also here in this post on Facebook and YouTube, you will see the link, play the Prosperity Money Game. Click that link, enter your information, join the list, and let's start imagining. Let's start imagining. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. So I think that's enough said for today. I pray that you come back to this and really think about and dig into what imagination truly is, what manifestation truly is. And the habit of prosperous people is to live in this imagined place, right? No longer manipulating our way into experiences. And so with that, I simply say amen, ashe. And so it is. So it is.
Yes. Such good information today. That whole manipulation, manifestation thing, that is important information for everybody to understand. Yeah. We talk about it all the time, and I think people think they know what it is, but now you really know. Now you know. Mm-hmm. It's so important. Everybody's excited about the game, but now we got to understand why we're going to play the game and how we're going to play the game. Mm-hmm. And so please come back to this message, watch it again and again, write down your notes. I saw somebody saying notes, taking notes right now. It's all good, and we're looking forward to playing the game with you. One of the things that I love about the game is, as PG said, every time I think I know what I want, or I have my mind focused on certain things, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that I wanted that. And so in conjunction with the game, I always create a Pinterest board, a private board, where all of a sudden I just start putting stuff like, oh, I can't afford that this today, but I know in 2 days I can.
Look at that.
You know what I mean? And just to get my consciousness around, there's nothing I cannot be, do, or have.
Yes.
I just put it over here until the time comes when I can get that thing in my mind, in my experience, in my body. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We look forward to playing with you. We look forward to hearing your comments about playing. Get ready to have some fun, y'all, with this.
Yeah, this is just so very powerful, to just live in imagination, in a directed way.
Right.
You know, like I said, I thought this was going to be a Neville Goddard message, but one of the things he talks about is how a lot of times imagination is spoken of negatively. He's like, we don't have a real definition of imagination because, you know, we also, you know, some people even in the Common Song would say like, oh, he's pie in the sky.
Right,
he's
Pollyanna.
Right. And it's like, and so we say, oh, left to his own imaginations. Like that's a negative thing, right? And so this is a directed use of imagination, right? A very disciplined, constructive, affirming, powerful use. And, you know, I love with this game, one of the very first things in Asking and Is Given, for those who aren't familiar, with each process, Abraham writes or Esther writes, you use this process for, you know, to do certain things. If you're feeling a certain way or to shift some, the very first thing is to expand your imagination. Like that's what this game is about, right? So hear this, you could make this a manipulator game and it's like, oh, I want to get stuff.
Right.
Right. So many of the things that I purchased from my imaginary bank account, I have now, right? And they came to me through powerful ways. But that's not the point of the game, right? So it's very important to understand that this is designed to expand your imagination. That's the very first purpose.
Well, in truth, we're using our imagination all the time. We're just usually using it against ourselves. You've heard me say that. You've heard PG say that. We have a powerful imagination. We usually just use it to be in worry, doubt, and fear. And what this is training us to do is to be in the true realm and the true use of imagination, as opposed to being in worry, doubt, and fear. So let's all enjoy it. Let's all play together. Actually, I already started putting stuff in my Pinterest board because I knew it was coming. I was like, oh yeah, I know this is coming on day, so let me put this here. Right?
Awesome. So it is time for giving. You see the information here on your screen. It's very easy to give to CSC. You can just go to our website, celebrationsc.org/give, or you can text to give, 347-744-9500, and text your dollar amount. There's a $10 minimum for text to give. Of course, we appreciate your gifts. We appreciate your sowing a seed into the ministry of CSC. And of course, you know, good fruit comes through, and you all are that good fruit, right? Your lives transformed, your lives changed, your lives expanded, your newer, fresher, wider sense of prosperity is the fruit, right? And it's powerful, and so we're grateful for you. Please always know, and as you see this, we say it every week. Please give what feels good.
Only what feels good.
Only what feels good, right? When it feels good. Maybe today you could be just in a vibration of like, you just got a call and you got to spend money that you didn't expect, or, you know, you just replaced your tires. And so you're not in the vibration right now to give, right? Cool, right? You know you want to give, and yesterday you were fine about giving. Then just stop for a minute, right? Give when it feels good. Give what feels good. Because we're always giving vibrationally, right? The money is just a symbol. Behind it is a vibration. And so it's important that we're giving the vibration of, I have more than enough. I'm connected to more than enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. More is coming, right? I am worthy. I am holy. And so therefore, I'm not giving from shame. I'm not giving from guilt. There's no one judging me, right? God does not forgive because God does not condemn, right? So I'm living in this consciousness. And so I'm not giving because I'm afraid of God or afraid of anybody else, right? Give what feels good and when it feels good, right? So we love and appreciate y'all. Looking at the time, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
It's almost 12:30. So we'll take a little break, and then we'll come together at 1 p.m. for the God Talk. For those of you, our first-time guests, if you would like to participate in the God Talk, it's happening on Zoom, and so you have to have that link and password, which we email. We don't share out publicly because of all the Zoom foolishness. So to join our mailing list, just text the word welcome to 347.
Enough of this foolishness,
Right.
Course in Miracles says. Anyway.
347-472-1078. Okay? Just the word welcome. You'll receive an automated reply with a link. Tap the link, enter your information, and submit it. And then you'll receive a text that confirms you're all set. Once you have that, then look to your inbox. And in your inbox, the Zoom link and information will be there. You can join us for the God Talk. All right? So we look forward to seeing y'all.
Oh, we didn't do our closing affirmation on the money.
Oh, yes, I sure did. Thank you. And so, so I'm sorry, I was focused on making sure folk could join us for the God Talk. But yes, let us affirm together as we are giving. All the money that I use returns to me multiplied. In a never-ending cycle. Of increase. And enjoyment. All right, and so with that, we are indeed complete. We'll see some of y'all at 1 at the God Talk. Otherwise, we will see you either on the prayer call or be with you on the prayer call, or we'll see you next week. We'll be talking about believe. And of course, we would think that belief and imagination, of course, they're closely related. But believing is the next habit. I'm looking forward to tapping into that, right? So we'll see y'all. Enjoy your day. Stay cool wherever you may be. All right.
Bye for now.